Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine, folks.
All right, let's go, because you know what I came in to do.
I don't get paid for overtime. I'm here to fight.
So, according to Mike Coppinger, they couldn't give Terence Crawford a guarantee. No guarantee at all. What happened? Basically, he's just going to take a cut of the net revenue from the pay-per-views. A low percentage as well. 35%. Just tapping into Max Kellerman's animated language, Crawford should be looking for oversight, transparency from the books. Haymon can't guarantee this. Crawford needs something in writing to ensure that he's not going to get screwed over. And you have to ask yourself, is this why they're putting everything on pay-per-view now? Do the fighters not get legitimate guarantees over there on the PBC? $75 for Deontay Wilder versus Helenius? Deontay's lost 2 fights in a row. 2 fights on the bounce. Before you say Anthony Joshua's lost 2 on the bounce, Deontay Wilder is not the attraction in all America that Joshua is in the UK and in territories outside UK. It's not the same thing, right? Let me flow. Let it go. So the November date looks like kaputs. December or January, maybe. Are they trying to preserve Errol Spence? They can't afford to take the L. They haven't got Crawford nailed down on anything permanent. Can't afford to take the L. Sad. Max Kellerman, he's putting the jigsaw together as best he can, and he's calling it a duck. In my opinion, Errol Spence is not ducking the fight. He's not ducking it. But someone from the PBC is ducking it. They need to know, if you cannot do fights without nailing people to long-term contracts, and it's not like they're going to offer Crawford Canelo money to stay over there. If you can't do that, and you're unable to do cross-promotion fights, I'm not going to predict what the future is, but it's a bad day for American boxing. I'm someone who knows the history. Not just the British boxing, but American boxing. It's a bad day. First it was get a belt, Terence gets a belt. Then it was leave Bob Arum, Terence leaves Bob Arum. You got to take a smaller cut, Terence takes a smaller cut. And the fight's still not popping. Still not popping, rude boy. Let's leave that for now. Ryan Garcia said he saw Tank at a club and he tried to talk to him about a potential fight. And Tank wasn't too impressed and apparently grabbed Ryan's chain. And Ryan felt violated. Let's just say that. He spoke about it online. With Tank having this hit and run case coming up, some people are saying he's snitching. Ryan is snitching on Tank. It could impact on his case negatively. Although they're not supposed to take outside factors into consideration, he has built up a mental picture of who he is to the jurors, the prosecutor, taking a stand, and I'm cross-examining you, my man. You got to be careful, right? Your rap sheet isn't just what they have in the police station or in the system. Your rap sheet is whatever goes out in public. And it's what could get you fried in the chair eventually. I will ask black men, because I know the vernacular from street and rap, is not get caught up in what's popular to say. Snitching is the least of the concern in this discussion. Accountability is important here. And look at the chain of events that lead up to shit. That's important. And you've got to be detached in your summarization. Ryan is not a street dude. And what a lot of people who have a desire to represent the street seem to forget. And let's start with this first. Before I carry on, let me just... the biggest snitches are street dudes. The geeks and nerds ain't getting close enough to the circle to know what's bubbling in the mix. The biggest snitches are street dudes. But if you violated Ryan and Ryan felt violated, Ryan's not going to come out swinging hands, get essayed up. He probably could, but he's not going to do that. Knives and guns, he's not going to do that. So if he can throw Gervonta under the bus by divulging what he knows about Gervonta, well, snitching's got nothing to do with it. Gervonta has to take accountability. Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your thug shit to yourself. You did this. Ryan Garcia didn't do this. You did this. That's if it's true what Ryan is saying. Take accountability. Not everybody's going to respond in the way you think they should in a street way. There's other ways to fuck people and screw people over, rather than come out all guns blazing and clicked up and throwing hands in the car park or whatnot. Ryan said he's tough when he needs to be. That's what I remember from what he was saying in the clip I heard. He said, I'm tough when he needs to be. Like, he's not going to risk his liberty. He's got a kid and stuff. I know he's went through issues, but he's not a stupid kid. He's not stupid. And he's not about that life. But like I said, people who ain't about that life can find other ways to get you. And you might not approve of that, but you got to take accountability. Fat Joe talking about the P&B Rock. Oh, they could have just robbed him and not killed him. Oh, man, you're a grown man. You're nearly as old as me. You either agree with robbery or you don't. You got to take a stand. And it doesn't matter that you used to rob people when you were younger, Fat Joe. Who are you now? Are you against it or are you not? Grown people need to talk like grown people. I tell you what, I will entertain a discussion about what is snitching and if snitching is off the table. If you help Tank get back on his feet when he ends up spending all his money to stay out of them fucking courts and them prisons across there. Now you'll go into the next guy fighting on the PBC and latch on his coattails. Let's keep it real. When it gets deep, all them people crying out, snitching, repping the street, when it gets deep, that's when mommy, daddy, or brother, or the kid you went to school with, or them loyal dudes, or the loyal wife, or the loyal girl, that's when they come through, and that's when you realize how important they are, and what's really important. And these pussies, they can go fuck themselves. Conor Ben and EUBANK, they took the press tour to the Good Morning Britain studios. They was on there a long time as well. Nee Sowland was there with EUBANK, and on the other side was Hearn and Ben. It's funny, isn't it? Like the EUBANKs used to be with the Hearns. That's where it all started. Now the Bens are with the Hearns. Chris had the 60% t-shirt on saying he's only going to be 60%. And he broke down to the lady who was interviewing, because she's not really a boxing person, I would assume. She might be, Charlotte. That, yeah, they've made him come in at a catch weight, 3 pounds the weight he usually fights at, and he broke down the rehydration clause and the stiff penalties if he violates that. And he said he'll only be 60%. But that 60% would be enough to deal with Conor. Conor said that he's moving up 2 weights, and the training camp was powerful, explosive. Nice and Eddie didn't really have much to say, to be honest. They might as well not have been there. I don't even know if Chris has read into the psychology of the 60% thing. But it's basically telling Conor, you can't beat 60% of me. And if Conor feeds into that, he'll have to keep a check on his own insecurities. We all have insecurities. But previously, Conor said, stop saying you won't be at your best. You agreed to this, you agreed to... Yeah, he did agree to it, but that doesn't take away from the fact that in theory, he won't be 100%. You're not fighting a 160-pound EUBANK without a hydration clause. But, you know, that's what Conor negotiated. He should run with it. Don't second guess anything. If that's an advantage, make the advantage tell in the ring, because the fight is going to be hard enough now without psychologically doubting yourself. Because, you know, Chris has played a good one so far, putting it in Conor's head, can you beat 60% of me? You know, eating dessert and burgers. It was his birthday last week, I believe it was, and you see him eating dessert, burgers, and he's posting it up online, and Conor picked up on it today saying, well, you'll be 60%, I'll be 100%, I'm a professional, I don't eat burgers and post them up online. And, you know, everyone's looking at what weight Chris is going to come in at. What weight is Conor going to come in at? 57? 56, 55? You know, he doesn't want to overindulge in taking advantage of being able to weigh in a lot more than usual. He wants to retain some welterweight speed, surely. I don't like the weight cut for Chris. I don't like it. I don't like the weight cut. I'm tempted to go with Chris, the naturally bigger guy, but with the weight cut, I'll leave the prediction. The most telling thing was Roy Jones ain't going to be in Chris's corner. I don't know if his dad's going to attend and play any part in his corner, but it doesn't look like his dad's training him. He's been training himself, that's what he said. He's training himself. And that's going to raise a few eyebrows because he's always had Ronnie Davis there, but Ronnie Davis, in Chris's words, just carries the spit bucket and towels. And after a few indifferent performances, the George Groves fight in particular, He came in for a lot of criticism for not hiring a proper trainer. Then he got Nate Vasquez in for the James DeGale fight, probably his best win of his career. Then the Matt Cobra fight, I think Vasquez was there for that. Then he took 2020 out, whole year out, couldn't get no fights on the PBC. Resurfaced on Sky Sports for the tune-up fight and the Liam Williams fight with Roy Jones in his corner. Should there be alarm bells that he doesn't have a trainer? We'll see. It's a fight that some hardcores want to see, isn't it? Cebedo versus Prograis. Jose Sullivan raised some doubts whether Marv Nation, who bid 2.4 without a network, he raised doubts that it was going to get done because things weren't getting done fast enough in his eyes, but they've penciled it in, SoCal, November the 26th. They've been around for a little while, but they're newbies in terms of putting on relatively big fights, and I'd say this is relatively big. But right now they look like they're back on track. I'm still not convinced. 2.4 is an absolutely huge bid. They beat out TGB, the PBC basically, Tom Brown. They beat them out, nearly doubled their bid. Where are they going to put it? You can't bid 2.4 and put it on the Fight Network. But I don't want to get bogged down in that. The fight's getting made, at least for now. Here's my take on the Leigh Wood, Mauricio Lara, Santa Cruz situation. Leigh Wood is a boxer. He doesn't crunch numbers. He's not an accountant. He's a glory hunter, a pugilist, a gladiator. 2 very good stoppage wins on the bounce for this interim title, I believe the WBA interim 126 title against Zucan and Michael Conlan. He put his name in the hat to defend the interim title against Mauricio Lara. The fight was going ahead. In fact, that fight was supposed to headline last week on the Maxi Hughes on the Maxi Hughes Kid Galahad card. They were supposed to be the main event. Maxi Hughes and Galahad got elevated because Leigh Wood apparently suffered a bicep tear. That's what Ben Davison said. I don't believe he suffered a bicep tear. I believe when the industry got hold of the news that he was facing Lara and people like Sam Jones started waving red flags, this is a mistake. This is a mistake. What do you have to gain from beating this little-known Mexican? They had to change tact. It was too dangerous a fight for what was at stake. And I said they weren't going to reschedule. And no, they're not rescheduling. Leigh Wood, he wanted the fight. Let's not get that twisted. He wanted the fight. But you pay people, matchmakers, promoters to do their job. You pay them, not so you can, oh, well, I want to prove that I can beat him. No, there was no way this fight was going to go ahead. What was the incentive, is what they're saying. Now, as a boxing fan, I'm like, wind them up and let them go. You know what I mean? But Leigh Wood's management, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, DAZN, nah. Let's get Mauricio Lara another fight. We'll keep him busy, but we'll wait until he's mandated and then worry about that then. I tell you what, you people are scaring people off. You see, you think Martin Bacoli's phone has been ringing since he beat up Tony Yoka? Nope. A couple of months back, the WBA actually mandated Leigh Wood to fight Santa Cruz, who hasn't defended that belt since February 2019. I just looked it up on BoxRec. It's crazy. The fight fell apart. 75-25% split in Santa Cruz's favour. Ridiculous. You know, and Matchroom argued on Leigh Wood's behalf that he's become the bigger draw since entering the title picture. It should be more a 50-50 split. The WBA denied Santa Cruz a permit to face Ray Vargas to make a unification, both on the PBC. Now, hopefully they can come to some kind of deal before it goes to the purse bid situation again, because unless they restructure the WBA, unless they restructure the split, Team Wood just ain't going to go for it. So let's hope they can come to a deal.
Mr. Big Garaf, where's the paper? You didn't sign. You make the same play like Anthony Joshua. I can't understand. Yesterday you shoot your mouth very big. You want to fight 2 guys in the night. But I told you I need from you 5 in the night. No problem. Send the paper and make the fight happen. Because my promoter Errol Jolan called me Frank Warren doesn't respond. Are you scared? You scared, boy? You little big dosser? Send the paper.
Maybe Fury is the best at mind tricks because he gets all these boxers to say Big Dosser. Wilder was saying it the other day, now this guy's saying it. Now, Mahmoud has issues if he believes Tyson Fury is scared to fight him. Although he does have a point. If you're moving on from the AJ fight, why haven't you sent Mahmoud the contract, the paper? As he said, the paper, where's the paper? Send him the paper. Sign up and get your fight. Remember, it's the Tyson Fury show. It doesn't matter who's in the other corner. So how comes the contract had to be signed this week by AJ, but you're not sending Mahmoud CHARR a contract so he can sign straight away? Because he ain't got no endorsements or sponsorship obligations he's got to clear up. He has none. Get it signed and go fight him. According to John Fury, they're going to get Andy Ruiz in for December the 3rd if AJ doesn't sign the contract. Where are you going to get Mahmoud CHARR in? And that's Andy Ruiz. To Spencer Oliver, Gareth Davis, and any of the other idiots who are saying Eddie is looking for a way out of this fight, when this guy is just randomly calling out names and deadlines. And he was calling Derek Chisora out, was it a month or so ago, or maybe a couple of months back to fight? You're idiots. Or clickbaiters. Every second Frank Warren is telling us, oh, Tyson's had enough now, he's moving on. And Fury's jumping up, shouting out random names. And then you're blaming Eddie for saying he doesn't want to fight Joshua. Joshua was planning to fight in December. And this is the most unstable boxer of all times. And you're expecting them to stay rational and on point and tell you everything is smooth when this guy is jumping up every second saying something. And Frank Warren, he went from, I hate deadlines, to why ain't they signing the contract? Tyson's moving on. Don't be total wankers.